Florida have the highest veteran population in the country. They may not be near a military base, and I think Alaska has the highest percentage of veterans at 10%. So you may be in an area that you may not have a base or a post or a station, but what do you do? How do you help out the military? Bruce, do you have something you want to add to that? That's something Laura would love to know.
Well, I would tell you that just because you're not around a military base, don't mean that you don't have prior military veterans, retirees in your area. If you go out on Facebook or Google military groups near me, meetup groups, you will find a lot of those groups near you that you can go in and network with. The problem is if you go in and network with them, really be genuine, because they're already at a defensive, because so many people, like they said earlier, so many people try to take advantage of military retirees and stuff like that. For some reason, they think that just because you're past military, you make all this money and everything, so they want to get their part. And over the years, we sniffed that out automatically from the get-go. But what I will tell you also is this: one of the things that I did that I do down here, and I market to a lot of retirees and stuff like that. So I market to the community itself, and believe it or not, it's something very simple. I'm a member of Fortune Builders, so I went through Fortune Builders Mastery, and one of the things they taught us was a unique way to do a direct mailer. Okay. And I know that I sat down with Joe and showed him this. I sent out direct mailers all over the community, letters straight out of the marketing, straight out of eXp marketing area. But I do this one different thing. When I fold up the letter and put it inside the envelope, I put my card in there. Then when I leave my address, I leave my wife and my name on there. I don't leave eXp. I don't leave no business. I just leave from Bruce and Elizabeth Whiteside with our business address on there. And that makes them open it. And believe it or not, over the past 3 months, I have signed 15 listings from just doing that. And it works. Some people might say it don't work, but it works for me. Put it that way. It's another way, and it's an inexpensive way. So if you take anything from me, try to do those mailings.
Yeah. Anybody else? What's a final tip, a thing that you would recommend for somebody to really start working on their military community and serving them?
I'm going to add one thing real quick: is if you're working into the military community, knowledge about how they operate is very crucial, because all you military guys in the audience is going to laugh when I say the F word is not a curse word. It's part of our vocabulary. And I don't know about other branches, but for the Army, yeah, it's said quite often. And if that offends you, then you might not want to work with the military guys, because yeah, there's let's just say offensive jokes, and that's just how they deal with life. Yeah. So kind of, yeah, you have to be around the military a little bit. If you get hurt, your feelings hurt, you might want to reconsider. But yeah, so if you got thick skin and you can take a joke and not get offended by certain words, then you'll be just fine.
Sierra, what advice would you give?
I just think he's spot on with that, because it's an adjective, it's a noun, it's a verb, it's every other word. And I mean, I know even my sons, I'm like, and it's just the way it is. So, yeah. The humor is usually dark humor, and you just have to kind of roll through it and know that. But I would say, honestly, if you don't have a big military community or base around you, jump on and start asking for veteran-owned businesses. And go in and introduce yourself. Introduce yourself to them and ask how you can bring them value. Start with that, bringing value. Don't ask for business. You don't need to ask for it. It will naturally eventually come to you. But check with your VFW. How can I help? Because there's going to be a VFW close to you. How can I help? How can I use my business to support you and veteran-owned businesses? I would say those. And like you said, Deanna, jump on and look for military mom groups in the area. Those are huge. look for any kind of military group in your area, jump in and start participating, start listening.
Right, right. Joe, is there anything you want to add? You're muted. Here's a couple of things that, again, I have put in the feed, the link to our handout. That is just some ideas for you to get started. We're going to go ahead and take that suggestion, maybe come up with a military marketing mastermind and see if there's some things that people might want to jump on there. But take a look at that handout. It's a PDF form. We're going to have it in the military network group so that you can look it up. It's also in the feed. But some of the things that I would recommend and kind of, turn your attention to is, networking is a big thing. We talked about the veteran-owned business groups. You can start your own group. That's really helpful. A lot of folks, entrepreneurship tends to be a career path, I guess you could say, or an alternative that a lot of military members and spouses pursue. One, because it's they're working for themselves and it's a little more of a comfortable environment for them, and the spouses, it's something they can transition easy with. So they love to have those groups. So if there isn't one, create one for them. Other things I would say is, really connect and study the culture for the different members in the military, because they're Navy versus Air Force versus Marines versus Coast Guard, all very different, yet the same in their own way. So really get to know the markets that you're serving. And then the other thing is I put in here also referral network groups. And if you're looking for an opportunity to be able to work with more military families, it's something you're really good at, really comfortable with. There are a ton of military referral networks for whether it be for eXp or, what I call brand neutral groups out there on Facebook. You can find a lot of business opportunities there. We also, I think the biggest thing is reaching out after closing. If you've worked with military clients, guys, you got to stay in touch with them. They're moving again. They're going to move again. Sometimes unexpectedly. We had one group, they literally, a couple, they closed and they got orders again 3 months later. Dear Lord, having to solve that problem for them. Stay in touch. Don't lose touch with your military families that you've worked with. And also, they're a very tight community. We've got a Facebook group here locally that's run by a real estate agent. I love to hate her because she just has dialed in that group. There's like 3,500 members in this group. It was a mother's group she started on Facebook. Everything you can imagine that's coming through there that anybody could want to know about Kirtland Air Force Base here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. She's got it. She's sharing it. And you want to know where all that business goes? It's going to her. And, I talked to her, she spent 7 years building that group. But now that's all she does is work that business. So, Sierra brought up the fact it's a long-term game. You bring value, you create a community, you provide resources, whether it's riding motorcycles with the group that Bruce does, or working with some of the groups that Frank or Sierra do. Create relationships, get deep in relationship. And, that's the best advice I can give. Any final things that you guys would like to add? Because we do have probably about 3 more minutes.
For me, I would just say, just be proud of it. I mean, I'm out there all the time, and you're going to get pushback. You just are. You're going to get those people who get into your messages and have something to say, and you have to have thick skin. You have to be able to, just delete them, block them, whatever, but it's coming, and just know it. And like I said, if you support them, you support them. And if you don't pretend like you do, because it's definitely a network that is built on trust.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Absolutely. Frank, Bruce, anything you want to add as we wrap up?
I would just say that the ongoing communication and just putting yourself out there, that let them know that you do support the military, because like Austin, you wouldn't think that Austin have a huge military population, but here in Fort Hood, we're only an hour north, and a lot of the guys get out of the military, get jobs in Austin. So yeah, we use a lot of VA loans down in Austin area. So even though it's not a based local, they're still buying. So it's just putting it out there, letting them know that you can help them with their VA. and educate them about that process. And you'll be surprised on how many people you pick up.
Right.
Also, what I would say is, if you're in a community and you're trying to work with military, get with some of your retirees or some of your past military folks down in that area, and create a little squad or a team, and learn from each other. One thing I've noticed is that sometimes agents don't like to because they think it's competition, but believe it or not, everybody achieves more as a team than you would achieve by yourself. So learn from each other.
Amen.
All right, great. Guys, I really appreciate you coming on, helping out. For those of you out in the eXp world, you know where to send your referrals. We invite you to do that. And
Deanna,
go ahead.
Anytime somebody wants to message me and talk about it, I'm happy to. So anybody who's out there listening, you can send me a message, jump on my Facebook, jump on my Instagram. I'm always happy to collaborate and come up with, other ideas and share ideas, and would love it. So if somebody else has something that they want to bring to the table too, message me and I'll get on it. So
great.
For sure.
Oh, guys, I really appreciate you. And for those in the audience, just know that the links are in the feed for all of the things that we talked about. We've got links on the language of military, which I think is important for people to really get familiar with if you don't know it. We have links for the MRP and the VA rep designations, and also just the actual flyer. And go in there, and we're going to have probably about a 5-minute break until we start the next program. And again, Frank, Sierra, Bruce, thank you so much for coming on board and talking with us.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Take care.